Welcome to lesson 2, and lesson 2 is focused on how to go and run Danphe application using IIS using a web server, right? So if you see, this is if you remember our installation folder, we had databases, setups, and we had this application. And now if you want to go and run the application, you are actually running this executable out here. You are running actually the Danphe EMR out here, and then you are browsing to the URL, right? So when you run this console out here, you can see the Kestrel web server. In case if you are not aware of ASP.NET Core, at this moment your application is running using the Kestrel web server, right? So this is good till here, but at this moment if you see, this application is running just under a local host. But what if you want to go and expose this application over internet, over a cloud, over an intranet, right? Then this way won't work, right? So what we have to actually do is we have to run this code. This is the actual compiled code out here. This complete code we have to run inside some web server, right? So what I'll do is, this is the Windows server at this moment. Remember, Danphe works only on Windows server, right? So I'm going to go to the control panel, and first let us go and install Internet Information Server, IIS, right? Which is nothing but the web server from Microsoft, right? So I'm going to go to the control panel and I will turn on the feature, right? So so we need to go and enable the IIS feature out here, right? So you can see this is the web server out here. Very quickly, let me just pull this up. So we have to go and select this. Once we select this, he says that, do you want to also go and add the management console? I'll say yes. We would like to have the management UI in case if you want to do some configurations out there. We'll say next. Now in this, just make sure that you select .NET 3.5 also, just in case if some components are coming from .NET 3.5, and rest looks okay, right? So just make sure that this .NET 4.7, you can see that at this moment it is enabled by default, and must be, I can just select ASP.NET 4.7 as well, just in case we are not using ASP.NET 4.7, but let us go and select it, in case the 3.1 components are using some of them, right? So just make sure that these .NET things are selected out here, and we'll say next, and let us go ahead and install it, right? So next and install, right? Now this will take a couple of minutes out here to install and enable the Internet Information Server. Once the Internet Information Server is enabled, then you can use the IIS manager to go and create an application inside the web server, or to create a virtual website and point to this compiled code out here, right? So let's wait for a couple of minutes. And again, like as we are installing these things, right, just make sure that whenever you have any issues with installation, you can go ahead and you can chat on the website, which is given above out there, right? I'm flashing the website name, so you can just go to the chat window and say that I have this issue. We'll try to resolve it. And not to forget, the best thing is that the chat is always a very informal way of getting solutions, right? The most formal way of getting an answer is to go to GitHub and put up a request out there, right? So if the installation, you can see the installation is completed. In case you want to just check out if the installation is completed, then this thing out here, Internet Information Manager, IIS manager, should be seen, right? What I'll do is I'll just go and restart the website, just in case, because I've done some installations, right? So let us just make sure that we go and we restart the computer out here. So I'm going to go and just restart the computer just in case. So there our server has restarted, right? So first thing, just make sure that you know where your application directory is, right? So this is the application which is out here, right? The .NET application, right? So I'm going to go and say copy address as text. So just make sure that you copy the folder path out here. So I'm going to go and copy the folder path, and let us go to IIS out here, inet mgr, right? So I'm going to go and copy the folder path, and let us go to IIS out here, inet mgr, right? So I'm going to go and copy the folder path, and let us go to IIS out here, inet mgr, right? So I'm going to go and copy the folder path, and let us go to IIS out here, inet mgr, right? So I'm going to go and copy the folder path, and let us go to IIS out here, inet mgr, right? You can just type here inet mgr, or you can just type IIS and they should pop up. And now let us go ahead and create a virtual directory, right? So you can see first thing, when you actually go and run IIS, right, by default there is a default website, so must be we can just go and remove this default website for now, right? So now let us go ahead and add a website, and let us name it as Danphe application, Danphe app, right? So what is the physical path, where your code is? So my physical path of my code is out here. At this moment, I don't want to run this on for the external websites as such, so I'm not giving any IP address, but just in case, if you want to go and put up a host name and a domain name, you can put it out here, right? So I'm going to go and say okay out here. Now remember, the site name I'm creating it as Danphe app. Now in IIS, when you create a website, it also goes and creates an application pool, right? You can think about application pool as nothing but a separate memory which is assigned to the website inside which your application will run. Okay, so I'm going to go and say okay out here. Now what you need to do is, when you go and create Danphe app out here, he will also create that application pool with the name Danphe app. This is a very important step. If you miss this step, you won't be able to run your Danphe application, right? So you can see this was the default pool for the previous default website. We don't need it, we can remove it, right? The top one is our Danphe app, our Danphe pool out here, right? So we're going to go out here and we're going to make sure that we will say no manage code. Why? Because our application is made in the new .NET and these are old versions out here. So just make sure that you say no manage code and you say okay. Once you're done with that, now let us go and try to browse to the website, right? So I can just go and type, let me open up Edge. So I can just go and type localhost and the application should start, right? So, and remember that at this moment I'm running on port 80, so I don't have to specify any kind of port, right? So localhost, right, that's localhost out here. Let's say enter, and right, you can see now we are getting some exceptions out here, we are getting some errors out here, and let us try to figure out that how to handle these errors. You can see it is showing us internal server error. Let us try to fix this. So in case if your application is not properly configured, or in case if there are issues, then you would end up with such kind of an internal server error. Let us try to understand how to figure out this error. Now if you read this error, it says out here that handler is not determined, handler is not known, right? So again, now let us go back to our installation and let us go to setups out here. Now in the setups, we have this .NET hosting 2.2.3, right? So we need to go and run this. Now what is this .NET hosting? This .NET hosting is nothing but it is a bundler, and it is specifically needed when you are hosting ASP.NET Core applications inside IIS, right? So let us go and do this. I forgot this step, so extremely sorry. So must be what you can do is that once you install IIS, go ahead and first install this hosting bundler, right? So this step was missed. So the sequence should be, first you will go and you will create the install the IIS, then you will go ahead and you will install this Windows Server hosting, the bundler, and then after that you can go and you can create your application, right? So I missed that step out here, so I'll just say install, no problem. Let us go and install the ASP.NET Core module. If you see here, it says that he is not able to find the module, right? So that module is getting installed. Okay, right. So great. So what I'll do is I'll just go first and I will just restart this thing. You can see here, you can stop and you can restart it. So I'll just at the right side, right, you can see here this one. So I've selected the website out here, I've just restarted out here. Also what I can do is to the application pools, also I can just recycle it once, it should not matter, but who knows, right? Let us run it, and now our application should run inside the local host, right? And once you can run inside the local host, you can give this machine's IP to anyone in the intranet, and you should be able to access the website. So there you can see it is running out here. So that means that something is happening, right? Again, you can see there are some issues out here. We will need to fix this as well. So let us try to understand what exactly is happening, right? Remember, at this moment you are trying to configure the application. It is using ASP.NET Core. So please do have a little bit of patience out here. Let us try to understand. So what it is saying is that I cannot go and connect. Now at this moment your application is running inside the IIS app pool. Remember, this is the IIS app pool out here. So this is the IIS app pool, right? So it is running inside the IIS app pool, and it is saying that I cannot open the connection with your database. Remember our SQL database, Danphe EMR. So what happens is when your application runs inside IIS, it is at this moment running inside this. It is using this user. It is using this user, and it is trying to connect to Danphe EMR. Now, if you remember our SQL server, right? Our SQL server is not configured for this user. Our SQL server is configured, only for the user, who is logged into the system. So for this user, we have no configurations as such, right? So if you see very quickly, when you log into Management Studio, and it's taking time. So if you remember, you can connect by using the Windows authentication, and the Windows authentication username is VM123Danphe. VM123 is the computer name /Danphe, right? And here he is trying to access by using IIS app pool Danphe, and so that's why it's a problem, right? So let us see that how we can go and we can fix this issue. So in order to fix this issue, what we need to do is we need to go ahead and add this user, right? This is the default user which is created. We need to go ahead and add this user to both the databases, to our SQL server actually, right? So let us go out here, and now what you need to do is you need to go ahead and expand the security node out here. So you can see here, this is our instance which is running. Remember, these were our two databases, right? So down below you have security, and over here, what we need to do is we will go ahead here and we'll create a new login, and we'll create the login exactly with that name. So just copy paste from here, right? We'll create it exactly with that name, and we will go ahead and define the mapping, right? So we would like to say that this user, we would like to map to Danphe admin, and we would like to give him the admin access, the backup access, the data reader access, the data writer access, and the DDML admin at this moment. So you can see here, I'm like, what you can do is, if you really want to, you really don't want to give all the rights, right? You can just go ahead and just make sure that you give rights only for data reader and writer. But for now, I'm really not sure at this moment, because I'm an evangelist, right? I'm not really sure that if the developers have used DDL statements also, right? So sometimes must be that they are going and creating some tables on the runtime. I'm not showing if I do know that there are some modules out there which also does backup, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and give these access out here, right? So that we don't have any problem. But later on we can remove some of the access, just to make sure that we are good, right? The same I have to do for Danphe EMR as well. This is for Danphe admin I have done. The same I'll do for Danphe EMR as well, right? Okay, and let us say okay, right? So there it is. And with this now, let us try to now again run it, right? So I'm going to go and run it, expecting that everything should be good. Right. So there it is. Just wanted to check once again. Looks good, right? Let us see. Okay, there it is. Nice, right? And I'll just now go ahead and check it if I'm able to log in. Remember, admin and pass 123. Admin and pass 123 is the default user which is created, right? So now let us go ahead here and create an appointment, so that we can just test, if the system is working or not, right? So I'm going to go and click on this new patient out here. Now please note, let me just reopen it again. It's possible that sometimes not sometimes, always you'll be asked to select a counter as well. I don't know why that selection is not there. Let me just show it again. So I'll just go and try to create. Okay, I have to log in again. Just wanted to show how to go ahead and create an appointment. So I'm going to go and just check this. So when you actually click on the appointment, actually what happened is I selected the counter already, so I don't want to miss this step. So let us go ahead and test the system. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to go ahead and create an appointment. So when you go and create an appointment in a hospital, you can have a lot of counters, right? So let me go and select one of the counters out here, and let us create a new patient with the name test 123 and test last. Remember, all these star ones out here are compulsory, so just make sure that everything is filled. Now remember that this application at this moment is configured as per India, right? So because it is configured as per India, you can see the country and the state is selected as per India, right? So we'll see later on how to use the parameter tables, to go and change these configurations, to change hospital names, to change hospital address, and so on, right? So that we'll see later on. So I'm going to go and just fill all this, which are compulsory. By default, what we have done is we have added admin doctor. So for testing purpose, you can select this admin doctor. If you select the doctor, by default to which department he belongs, it is out here. Or you can go the other way around also. You can go and you can select neurosurgery, and then in that, if there are any doctors, you can select that as well, right? So I'm going to just go and give a time which is a little bit ahead, right? Something like this, or must be I can give a date which is a little bit ahead, right? So let's say on 6th I'm giving him appointment, right? If he's coming on the same day itself, for example, at this moment it is 5th. If he's coming on the same day itself, that is also good, but at this moment this is like 12 o'clock, right? So I'm going to go and just make it, let's say that he's coming on the same day, right? That's okay, I think, right? Print invoice, and I'll say confirm. Good. Now, what this system is trying to do is, this system is saying, hey, like this same phone number is existing for a patient. So do you want to reuse the old records and just attach to it, or do you want to go ahead and register a new patient, right? So must be in your case, it will not come. I had made this entry sometimes back to just test if everything is good, right? So I'm going to go and say register a new patient, and there is the bill with the charges, for which doctor and so on, consultation charges and so on, right? Good. So this confirms that our system is working, right? Now the next lesson, the next lab is on how to go ahead and configure this EMR, or how to go and configure the application as per your hospital. For example, you want to go and change the logo out here, must be you want to go and change things, or you want to go and add a doctor, must be you want to go and change the currency, you want to go and change the country which it belongs to, right? So how do we go and do those configuration changes is the next part of the lesson, right? Now again guys, in case if you're really liking my videos out here, if you think that this is really adding value, then please go ahead and tag me on LinkedIn. You can also go and also tag iMark Digital as well, who has created this software, right? And please make sure that you also visit our website. So in case you are facing issues, you can go to our website and you can go to the chat window. Also, you can go to the GitHub and raise an issue. More than happy to help you, right? And I hope that this software is adding value to your hospital. It is helping you automating it, right? Helping you to automate your hospital. So the next lesson, lesson 3, is on parameter tables, configuration. parameterization, customization, right? Thank you. Happy learning, happy automating, happy implementing. Thank you.